In this lecture, we will learn about more with the DLL list command or plugin. So the responders can also check the loaded DLL files associated with the process. This allows the analysis to determine whether a suspect process accessed these files when it was executed. So, for example, if a responder would like to examine the DLL file associated with one of the suspect processes, for example, process ID 11640, then you will need to run the command volatility 64 and okay, volatility 64. The first, as you remember, we inserted the file here. In this case it's file in here, and then we're gonna select the profile. As you remember, our profile was the Windows XP Service Pack 2 and x86 here. And then we're gonna use the p parameter to specify the process in this memory file, that running process. In this case it's 1640, and as you can see in memory analysis platform, there's no such an option with p volatility h here. Oops. Help. And as you can see here, we're gonna have some commands named here, help debug plugins here, verbose here, key here, and now we're gonna use the DLL list and then p process 1640. Okay, 1640. As you can see, there's a node process named 1614. So now we're gonna use the PS list to determine which process is, we need to PS list plugin here. Oh, why? So image info, we did enter the wrong image info operating system file profile. It's searching, and as you can see, Windows XP Service Pack 286. Okay, it's same actually. Profile. Okay, as you can see here, we listed our processes that's run, and we can find the associated executable or DLL files from it. So for example, if I want to get the DLLs of here, for example, let's it's actually reader SL file is quite suspicious, so that's why I'm gonna choose the process to, as you can see here, the process IDs is up here, and we're gonna choose the 228. Okay, as you can see here, we got these DLL files associated with the running process here. So this output indicates that there are several DLL files that are loaded as part of the reader sl.exe process. Later in this lecture, the DLL files will be acquired for further examination here. And we also have the handles plugin here. So the handles plugin, actually, I will copy this so for further examination, and I will also share it with you so you can look at it. This is the, let's mention it here, that this is the output of this command. Okay, so now we're gonna use the handles plugin. So let's actually close this, and yeah. So the handles plugin here allows analysis to view what type of handles are open in existing process. So these handles are references to resources that are managed by the operating system. So this data provides to responder an understanding of the specific blocks of memory an application or process is using. So this includes a wide variety of information, including registry keys and files associated with that process to and yeah, so to identify the open handles for process IDs, for example, our process ID in this case 228, and now we're gonna use this process ID. Okay, use this process ID here. As you can see here, DLL, but in this case, we are just gonna delete the DLL list plugin because we are not gonna use it anymore. And here 228 and the process here, and use the handles plugin, and as you can see we got this output here. So the command here is produce the port here, the thread file and directory and other information here. So as this output indicates, the suspect process has several open handle processes, threads, and registry keys. So these may become important data points moving forward and give some indication of the behavior of reader.sl executable here. So I want to mention another plugin here named LDR modules. So a common practice with malware codes is something to hide the activities of the malware. So one technique is to attempt to hide the DLL files associated with the malicious code. So this can be accomplished by unlocking the suspect DLL from the process environment block named PEB. So while this may provide some obfuscation on the surface, there is still trace evidence of the DLL existence contained within the virtual address descriptor VAD. So the VAD is a mechanism that identifies a DLL file-based address and full path. So all the LDR modules plugin compares the list of the processes and determines if they are in the PEB named process environment block. And so now let's run the LDR modules plugin here. And as you can see here, this is the output we get when using this command. So a review of the outputs reveals some entry in the reader.sl.exe file named here. Actually, it's decrease the size a little bit. And here, as you can see here from this output, this reader sl.exe process does appear to have an issue associated with the DLL file. So this indicator, the indicator that is the process suspect, is the false here. In init is false, as you can see here, but there's nothing false, nothing in another quote here. So as you can see, this is the suspicious. This is suspicious that DLL file is tampered here. So this indicates that the executable has delinked the DLL files, and the reader.sl file warrants further investigation. And we're gonna copy this. So I'm gonna share it with you. And yeah, place it under this command. Okay, the command is shown here. So now I'm gonna I want to mention the xviv process. So PSX view, and as you remember in previous lectures we did some examples of it, but it's just a demonstration of how this PSX command run and how to use it. But in this lecture, like as you can see here, we are like investigating the preader sl.exe file, and this is a suspicious file as we've seen. So we're gonna investigate it and analyze this executable file. Actually, it's as you remember, this is this virtual memory file. This is not a storage file. This is actually the memory file here that captured from the random access memory. So, and here we're gonna use the PSXV file, PSXV plugin here. So this is another good plugin that aids in discovering hidden processes in the PS6 here. So this plugin compares the active process indicated with an PS active process hid with any other possible sources with the memory image. So to run this plugin, you can just delete the process file here because we are not using on this process. We're gonna scan all of this and use the PSX view, and I'm gonna copy this also, so share it with you on lecture attachment here. So this is the opposite. I actually copied the wrong here. Actually, they are the same, but I accidentally no, they are not the same here. What I've copied, they are the same, was the same. So the output is like that. This is the output we got from the PS6 plugin. So if false within the column indicates that the process is not found in that area. And yeah, this is, as you can see, there's a false here. So, and this plugin allows us to this plugin allows us to review that list and determine whether there is legitimate reason that the process may not be there, or if it is an indicative of an attempt to hide process. So as you remember in previous lectures, in previous code here, we used the reader sl.exe, and we suspected that because when we scan it, it does actually come out pretty suspicious output here. And yeah, this was the second command we used, and as you can see here, there is the suspicious file here. And by suspicious I meant that the DLL file is delinked from this, but is that like as you can see here, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't that system that did it. It's just an executable malware code that did hide the DLL file in somewhere in the system. So this is actually pretty suspicious here. And we also here, this was the last code here. In next lecture, we're gonna go in more depth about the volatility network analysis. And as you remember in previous lecture, we did some network plugins. We used some networking plugins in volatility, but in next lecture we specially will analyze the networking plugin with the suspicious executable or running file here. So I'm waiting you in next lecture.